Welcome back, students. So, in the previous class, we were discussing about the question and answer for your question. Okay, so let's continue that only. And in the previous class, we have discussed about 15 to 14 questions there. So, moving further there, and the next question here is name two gases which are supplied in compressed form in homes and hospitals. Okay, so the question is asked out here. Name two gases which are supplied in compressed form. Okay, in homes and hospitals. So first thing you have to understand here is what do you understand by this compressed form. Okay, so compressed form means when we are suppressing or we are applying some force on the particles of the gases to bring them more near to each other on the gases in order to bring them more near to each other, then that is termed as then that particular force or that particular process of bringing them near to each other, the particles of gases when they are brought near to each other by applying some force. Okay, that is termed as the compression. So in our homes and in hospitals, which gases are supplied in compressed form? So you can see the compressed form gases in the cylinders. Okay, in the cylinders. So at your home, is cylinder is there. So yes, a red colored cylinder must be there, which you are using for your cooking purpose, which is present in your kitchen. Okay, so that particular cylinder is containing a gas which is known as liquefied petroleum gas. And in general we call them as LPG. Okay, so in our home we use compressed form we use liquefied petroleum gas. Okay, and it is also the property, the gas which is present as liquefied petroleum gas is propane. If the gas name is asked out in any other question, then please remember this name, propane. Okay, and the gas which is supplied in hospitals in the compressed form, it is oxygen gas. It is supplied in black colored black cylinders. Okay, so the cylinders are the vessels which are used to store these compressed gases. Okay, and in cylinders it is easy to transport these gases in their compressed form. Okay, as it must be known to you that when we are applying forces to compress a gas, it means that we are storing very great amount of energy in them. So if that amount of energy has been released out na, then what will happen? A great explosion will occur out there. So therefore the cylinders which are used out here for storing these gases, they are a very good and reliable method for storing such compressed gases. So the answer here is liquefied petroleum gas. You can see here the answer is liquefied petroleum gas, and the oxygen gas are the two gases which are supplied in the compressed form in our houses or in hospitals. Okay, so let's move further and see next question. The next question is write the full form of the following. It is asking the full form of the following too. So one is LPG and the other one is CNG. So LPG's full form I have told you previously also. It is LPG. So we can call them as liquefied petroleum petroleum gas, LPG. Okay. And for CNG it is compressed natural gas. Okay, LPG is the liquefied petroleum gas and CNG is the compressed natural gas. Okay, so both these are different. Okay, LPG is used in our houses for cooking purpose. Okay, we use them in our houses for cooking purpose, while CNG, compressed natural gas, is used for running the vehicles. Okay, they are used for vehicles as fuel. Okay, they are used for vehicles as fuel. Okay, you have seen some of the vehicles are containing cylinders in their back. That particular vehicles are using this CNG gas as their fuel. They are not using gasoline or petrol as their fuel, but they are using this compressed natural gas as their fuel. Okay, so the full form of LPG is liquefied petroleum gas, and the full form for CNG is compressed natural gas. Next, which of the two diffuses faster? Which of the given two diffuses faster, a liquid or a gas? So here you have to identify that a liquid diffuses fast or a gas diffuses fast. So what is diffusion? Diffusion is the process. Diffusion is the process of movement of particles from higher concentration to lower concentration region. Okay, higher concentration region to lower concentration. Diffusion is the process of movement of particles from higher concentration region to lower concentration region. Okay, so here if I am comparing liquids and gases, so liquids, if I am comparing it with gases, then the gaseous particles are very much far away from each other, due to which what will happen, the diffusion process here, it will be faster and more easier. Okay, here the gases will easily diffused in a given particular mixture which we are going to form out there. Okay, so as the gaseous particles are very much farther away from each other, so the diffusion process there will be faster, while in case of liquid, as the particles are nearer as comparison to that of the gases, and their intermolecular force is also strong there. So what will happen there, the diffusion process will be slower, and also it will be more difficult as comparison to that of the gases. Okay, we will see that the diffusion process for liquid, it will be more difficult as comparison to that of the gases. But in case of gases, due to presence of lower intermolecular force and higher spacious gap between them, between their particles, so therefore what will happen, the diffusion process will be faster out there. Okay, next question, question number 19. It is asking which of the two diffuses slower. Okay, just opposite to the first 18th question, it is asking which of the two substances diffuses slower here. Bromine vapor into air or copper sulfate into water. Okay, bromine vapor into air and copper sulfate into water. So please try to understand the question here, that what it is asking. It is asking here which of the two of the following diffuses faster. It is bromine vapor into air or it is copper sulfate into water. So as we have studied in the previous question that gases diffuse faster. Gases diffuses faster. Okay, so here we will see that bromine vapor, it means that it is also gas, and it is diffused in air, which is also a gas. So hence, because the gaseous substance are diffusing in gaseous substance, therefore the bromine vapor will fastly diffuse into air. Okay, it will fastly diffuse into air, while the copper sulfate is solid, it is solid crystal. Okay, so it will diffuse slowly in the water. It will take more time as comparison to that of bromine vapor to diffuse into water. So hence our answer here becomes copper sulfate diffuses slower as compared to that of bromine vapor in the air, because The rate of diffusion is faster in gases, as you will see that the particles of the gases are very much farther from each other, due to which what happens, there is more space provided there for the diffusion process, okay, for different particles out there. Next, question number 20, it is asking here, state whether the following statement is true or false. We have to state there whether the given statement is true or it is false. So the question is asking here, red brown bromine vapor diffuses into air in a gas jar, but the colorless air molecule do not diffuse bromine vapor. Okay, so what it is asking here, red brown bromine vapors diffuses into air. Okay, in a gas jar we have taken red brown bromine vapors, and colorless air molecules, gas is also present, colorless air is also present. Okay, so it is asking here that red brown bromine vapor diffuses into air, okay, but colorless gas air does not diffuses into bromine vapor. So it is false. Why it is false? Because air also diffuses in the bromine vapor na? If the diffusion of air is not done, then how will both of this will mix together? How will air and bromine will mix together there? Okay, but its diffusion is not visible to us because air is colorless. Okay, air is colorless there, it is not visible to us. While in case of bromine, due to presence of color, red brown color there, we can easily watch that, or we can easily observe that the bromine vapors are diffusing into air. Okay, now next, question number 21. A bottle of perfume was opened in a room. A bottle of perfume was opened in a room. The smell of its vapor spread in the entire room. The smell of its vapor is spreaded in the entire room. Name the property of gases which is responsible for this behavior of perfume vapors. So what is the property which is responsible for this behavior of perfume, that it is being smelled from very farther end of the room also? So here the answer will be diffusion process. Due to the diffusion process, what happens, the gases very easily move from one place to another place. Okay, you can easily send gaseous particles very far by using this diffusion process, and very quickly also. They will travel very quickly, they diffuse very quickly, and hence what will happen, as we open the perfume bottle where vapors of perfumes are present out there, so that vapors of perfume, what will happen, they will travel very quickly to the end of the room, to the different ends of the room, and hence from very farther, and also we can smell the perfume. Okay, next, question number 22, it is asking here, if a fish is being fired, pardon, if a fish is being fried, sorry, not fired, it is being fried in a neighboring home, we can smell it sitting in our own home. Name the property which brings this smell to us. Okay, if any good food is been cooking near about us, okay, not only fish, also any other good food is cooked in our neighborhood or near to us, then what will happen, or if we are moving near a hotel or near a place where good food is cooked, then what will happen, there good fragrance of that particular food which has been cooked out there, we will be easily smelling that from a very far away place also. Okay, so why did it is happening there? Because the fragrance which has been produced out there, it is the vapor form only, it is in the vapor form only, and as the vapors can diffuse easily in the air, as the vapors can diffuse easily in the air, so therefore due to the diffusion, what will happen, they will very quickly travel to us, and our nose will catch that particular smell, and we will be able to smell that from a very far place also. Means if I am moving 10 to 15 feet away also na, then also I will very easily smell that particular smell of that good food. Okay, next, question number 23. Name one property of liquid and gases which tells us that their molecules are moving constantly. So the diffusion is the only property. The diffusion is the only property which tells us that the liquids and gases are moving constantly. Okay. Due to this reason only, we will see that due to this motion only, due to this continuous motion only, the diffusion process is occurring out here. Okay. Next, question number 23. Here, it is asking for filling up the blanks. Okay, here we have to fill up the blanks. So the question one, the best evidence that the particles of matter are constantly moving comes from the studies of dash and dash. Okay, so what will be the answer here? If I am saying that the best evidence that the particles of matter are constantly moving from the studies of dash and dash here. So the answer here it will be, let's see the answer. The answer here is, I think so, diffusion and Brownian motion only. Okay, diffusion and Brownian motion. Because by using these two phenomena only, diffusion and Brownian motion, these two phenomena only, we are knowing that the constant motion of particles are present in the matter. Okay. Next, the smell of perfume gradually spreads across a room due to diffusion. Okay, it is done due to diffusion only. Next, solid, liquid, and gases are the three states of matter. Three states of matter. At room temperature, the forces of attraction between the particles of solid substances are the force at room temperature. The forces of attraction between the particles of solid substances are dash than those existing gaseous state, are greater, or you can use the word here larger also. Okay, so both can be answered here, greater or large. Okay, the next question, question number E, it is asking here, the arrangement of particles is less ordered. The arrangement of particle is less ordered in the gaseous state, and however there is no order in the less ordered in the liquid state, and there is no order in the gaseous state. Here it will be liquid and here it will be gaseous. In the gaseous state, you can see that there is no proper arrangement of the particles are seen, and hence therefore what will happen, no shape or no fixed volume of gas is present out there, while in case of liquids fixed volume is there, but no orderly mannered particles are present there, therefore they are having flexible shape there. Okay, they take the shape of the container in which they are kept out there. So let's move further and see the next type of question, that is the short type answers. Short type answers. So here the first question is asking here, state two characteristics of matter demonstrated by diffusion and Brownian motion. We have to give two characteristics which are defining this, demonstrating these two motions, two properties, that is diffusion and the Brownian motion. So the first is the diffusion. So matter is made up of very tiny particles. If we are using the diffusion for diffusion property, then it tells us that matter is made up of very tiny particles which which can diffuse with other particles also. Okay, which can easily diffuse with other particles also. Next, the particles of matter are constantly moving. Yes, the diffusion proves this particular value, that the particles of matter are constantly moving and therefore they are diffusing into one another. Okay, next is the Brownian motion. Okay, so Brownian motion is telling us that the Brownian motion is been observed at very special condition when the light is been passing through the solution or from a mixture. So hence the particles are very small. This particular phenomena is being seen out there, that as we cannot see the particles or the motion of the particles, or Brownian motion cannot be observed in normal condition by our naked eyes, but when a special condition are been obtained out there, and when light is been passed out through the mixture, then what will happen, there we will see the zigzag motion of the particles in a mixture or in a motion. Okay, so hence we can say that the particles are very small, or they are very tiny. Next, the particles, as we can see in the Brownian motion, that the particles are moving in zigzag movement. So it is also confirmed out there that the particles are having constant motion. Okay, they are having constant motion or movement. Next, name the scientist who studied the movement of pollen grains suspended in water through through microscope. Okay, so who was the scientist who has studied the movement of pollen grains suspended in water through a microscope? What is the phenomena known as? Okay, what is this phenomena we known as? So the answer is Robert Brown. Okay, Robert Brown was the scientist who have studied the movement of pollen grain which has been suspended in water through a microscope. Okay, and it was found that the pollen grain moving rapidly through the water in a irregular way. They were attaining a zigzag motion there. Okay, zigzag motion means a random motion in any direction, like this. In any direction they were moving like this. Okay, so Robert Brown has observed this thing, and this particular property of the particles has been termed as Brownian motion. That particular zigzag motion has been termed as the Brownian motion. Okay, next is the question: when a crystal of potassium permanganate is placed in a beaker. Okay, what we have done, we have taken a crystal of potassium permanganate, KMnO4, and we have placed it in a beaker. Its purple color spreads throughout the water. Okay, and if I am adding the water, or if the water is been present in that particular beaker, and I am adding few crystals of potassium permanganate there, one or two crystal of potassium permanganate there, let us say only one crystal of potassium permanganate there, but we will see that the whole of the water has been converted to purple color. So what does this observation tells us about the nature of the potassium permanganate in water? So here the observation tells us that the purple color spreads throughout the water, that the crystal of potassium permanganate is made up of very very tiny particles. It is made up of numerous tiny particles of KMnO4. Okay, tiny particles of KMnO4, and these particles of water have spaces between them where these tiny particles are being placed out. That KMnO4's particles, okay, potassium permanganate's particles are placed out in the water, and hence we will see that the purple color is attained out there. Okay, as we have termed that, we have observed here that the particles, there are very tiny particles present in the crystal of KMnO4, which can be easily accommodated in the molecular space present in the water. So hence we will see that the whole purple color is been filled up in the water there, which is contained in that beaker. Okay, let's move further and see the next question, that is: when a gas jar containing air is inverted over a gas jar containing bromine vapor. Okay, when a gas jar containing air is inverted over a gas jar containing bromine vapor, the red brown bromine vapor diffuses into air. Explain how bromine vapor diffuses into air. Okay, so we have to explain here how the bromine vapors are diffuses in the air. So here the answer is: when a gas jar is containing uh, when a gas jar is containing air is inverted over the gas jar containing bromine vapors. Okay, a gas jar which is containing air, it is been inverted over a gas jar which is containing your uh, bromine vapor, which are brown in color, red brown in color. Okay, then what will happen, both the gaseous substance, that is bromine and air, they will move and collide with each other. Okay, the particles of the bromine and air there, what will they do, they will collide with each other, and due to this reason what will happen, bounce back means, after collision what will happen, they will move away from each other in all the directions, and due to this reason we will see a uniform red brown color in both the jars. Okay, we will see that there is red brown, a uniform red brown color is been obtained by the both the charges there. Okay, and hence we can say that air and bromine vapors both have diffused with each other. Okay, air and bromine vapors both have been diffused with each other. Next, describe describe in your words what happens to the particles when salt dissolves in water. Okay, when we are dissolving salt in water, then please describe what happens to it. So salt when dissolved in water, the tiny particles of the salt occupies the space which is present in the molecules between the molecules of the water, and hence we say that they are mixed with them. The salt is mixed with the water, and also we get a taste to water. Okay, as we know that the water is tasteless. The water is tasteless, but after adding salt there, what will happen? The water will become salty. Okay, the water will become salty and it will taste like salt only. So there won't be any increase in the volume there, but we will also observe this thing that there won't be any increase in the volume after addition of salt also. Okay, so why this is happening? This is happening because if I am taking the example here that this is the molecule of salt, sorry, water. This is the molecule of water which is present here like this. So here you can see that spaces are present between these molecules of water. Okay, spaces are provided. Okay, spaces are left out here. So in these vacant spaces which is present in the molecules of water, the different solute particles, okay, the different solute particles gets accommodated here. So here also what will happen? Na plus and Cl minus will accommodate here, and hence you can see that as no extra volume is been added out here, no extra volume is been added out here, what is happening? The spaces which are present in the given volume only, that is been occupied here. So therefore we will not see any increase in the volume also. We will not see any increase in the volume also when we are adding any solute in a solvent there. Okay, so for this particular session, that was the questions which I have discussed with you. So I will provide this PDF when the whole of the questions which is present in this PDF is being discussed with you. So presently you can use this video only for writing down them in the copy. Okay. So we will continue this particular question and answer in the next session also. So thank you for watching this. Thank you.